Minecraft is an enormous and expansive game built on surprisingly simple mechanics, but with a lack of tutorials, it can be confusing for many newcomers. Follow me, William Strife, as I cover the basics to the advanced of crafting, surviving, and building. Welcome to the Minecraft Guide. In the previous part of the Minecraft Guide, the wonders of farming and leading an agrarian lifestyle were covered. However, while the details of growing food is important, there are other more superfluous plants that can be found and sometimes grown. Thus, enjoy this small detour before we get back to running a real farm. Flowers of all sorts dot the landscape of Minecraft, and while they can be picked up and replanted for aesthetic purposes, they can also be crafted into dyes. Dyes are used to recolor 4 different types of items: wool, leather armor, hardened clay, and glass blocks. Wool can be dyed 1 block at a time, but a more efficient method is to apply dye directly to a sheep because they will retain the color when their coat regrows. Also, just so you know, you can non-lethally remove wool from a sheep by right-clicking them with a pair of shears. The next thing you can dye is leather armor, which can be done piece by piece just like wool. Doing so has very little benefit though, even for purposes of vanity. However, the last 2 things you can dye serve great use for the avid Minecraft architect. Both hardened clay and glass blocks can be dyed by using either to surround 1 piece of dye. Now, hardened clay can be found in naturally spawning, albeit rare, mesa biomes, or crafted by cooking clay blocks. Normal clay is found mostly in swamps. It breaks into clumps when dug up and must be reshaped into a block to be cooked. Glass, on the other hand, is simply smelted sand. Something of importance is glass blocks can be crafted into panes, but panes cannot be stained with dye. Instead, you must first stain glass blocks and then turn them into window panes. Now that the uses of dye have been covered, the next thing to discuss is what colors there are and how to acquire them. Right off, it needs to be stated that many dyes have more than one way to be crafted. Only some of the methods are covered here, mostly the convenient ones. Additionally, something else worth mentioning is the bone meal mechanic. Bone meal, which is crafted from bones that skeletons drop when killed, acts as a sort of fertilizer. If it's applied to a grass block, it will instantaneously spawn multiple tufts of wild grass, but it will also sometimes generate flowers, which can be used for dye. This trick only spawns flowers that make light gray, red, and yellow dye though, so there are limitations. The rest of the flowers that exist must be found growing naturally in either flower forests or flower plains biomes. Finally, the last thing to know is that there are some flowers that grow in bushes and are 2 blocks tall. If these flower bushes are fed bone meal, they will produce a second flower bush, making them particularly useful for farming some dyes. Now, onto the full range of colors available, which is as follows: red, yellow, blue, green, black, white, brown, orange, cyan, purple, gray, light blue, pink, lime, magenta, and light gray. The list could be longer, but it's still exhaustive as is. First up is rose red, which can be made from poppies, red tulips, and naturally, rose bushes. Poppies are fairly common and can be spawned in a slightly unreliable manner by using the bone meal trick. Red tulips and rose bushes, however, are much harder to find and are only guaranteed to appear in flower forests. If you're in need of lots of red dye, don't forget that rose bushes, like all 2-block high flowers, can be farmed by directly feeding them bone meal. Second is yellow, made from dandelions or sunflowers. While dandelions can be found randomly in just about any biome and inconsistently spawned by using bone meal on grass blocks, sunflowers are a different story. Like all 2-block tall flowers, they can be farmed, but they also only appear in a special sunflower plains biome. Something else interesting about sunflowers is how, for some unknown reason, they always face east. The third dye is blue, which is actually just called lapis lazuli, a special ore that can only be found while mining. Don't worry if you don't know anything about mining, there's a full separate guide over digging both dirt, rock, and the minerals you can find. Fourth is the color green, which is made by cooking cactus into cactus greens. Cacti are found in deserts, and it's one of the plants in Minecraft that can be farmed. If you're looking to raise these prickly plants, all you need to know is they don't require water, must be planted on sand, no blocks can be immediately adjacent or next to them, and they grow to a maximum height of 3. Fifth is black, which isn't a dye, but just ink sacs which are dropped by squids, who will spawn in just about any body of water. Sixth is white, or rather bone meal is white dye. As stated before, it's crafted from the bones skeletons drop when killed. The seventh color is brown, but cocoa beans function as the actual dye. It was covered in the farming guide, but cocoa beans come from the pods that grow on the trunks of jungle trees. If you want to farm them, you just need to replant the beans on a jungle log. They'll grow, no water required, and will be ready to harvest when they mature, to a orangish-brown tone. Color number 8 is orange, and is crafted from orange tulips, which are a bit rare and can only be found in flower forests. Another method, though, is to combine red and yellow dye. Number 9 in line is pink, crafted from either pink tulips or, more reliably, from peony, another 2-block tall flower that can be farmed. Both these flowers can be slightly difficult to find, though, as they don't appear in most biomes, and the only place you're guaranteed to find them is a flower forest. The 10th dye is magenta and is made from allium flowers or lilacs, another 2-block tall flower bush that can be farmed. Just like the flora for pink dye, both allium and lilacs can be a bit rare, and the only guaranteed place you can find them is the flower forest. If you find yourself with neither, though, it's also possible to make 4 magenta from 2 roses, 1 lapis lazuli, and 1 bone meal. Dye number 11 is light blue and can be made directly from blue orchids. Blue orchids are a fairly easy find, commonly growing in swamps. However, as an alternative, light blue dye can also be made by combining lapis lazuli and bone meal. The 12th color is light gray and can be crafted from the common flowers azure bluette, oxeye daisy, and the less common white tulip. White tulips, like all tulips, can only be reliably found in flower forests. Oxeye daisies and azure bluettes, however, can both be randomly spawned in by using the bone meal trick on grass blocks. Another way to get light gray, though, 3 of them in this case, is to combine 2 bone meal with 1 ink sac. Now, the 4 remaining colors cannot be made directly from any flower, plant, animal, monster, or mineral, but instead must be crafted from existing dyes. The 13th dye on the list is cyan, whose crafting recipe is that of cactus greens and lapis lazuli. 14th is purple, which is made by combining red dye and lapis lazuli. The 15th dye is gray and is made from ink sacs and bone meal. Finally, color number 16, at the end of the list, is lime. It can be crafted by mixing bone meal and cactus greens. As long of a list as it is, gathering the materials for dye is a sort of reward within itself, and they serve an indispensable use for anyone who wants to give their buildings special flair. That's all there is to dyes in Minecraft, but there's still plenty of far more interesting things to be covered in the rest of the Minecraft guide. Up next, raising livestock and ranching. Until next time, I'm William Strife of the Yogscast, and a Minecraft expert. I'll see you later.